Hi everyone, good evening. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. Hope everybody is safe and taking good care of themselves and their families. Just to introduce myself, I'm Himani Shah. I'm a CA and a CFA. I have been working for 15 years in the institutional equities business, both in equity research and in equity sales. I work with organizations like Morgan Stanley and Citigroup, and also with domestic organizations like Anand Rathi and SBI Caps. I also train. I'm also a trainer in image consulting, in finance and in soft skills. I have trained at the CA Institute a lot of the budding chartered accountants on etiquettes and interview skills, and also women chartered accountants on the power of visual communication. Along the path, I came across a lot of businessmen, uh, CFOs, investor relations, and budding professionals. And one thing that actually stands out every time is that, few people actually have an edge over the others. And if you dig a little deeper into this, it's basically because these people who have an edge have actually mastered the art of visual communication. Visual communication has been scientifically proven to be about 80% of all communication. It includes not just dressing for success, but also grooming, body language, etiquettes, your diction, everything into it, and plus other things. But dressing for success is actually one of the easiest to master, which is why we thought of this, which was what the main purpose of this webinar was, that let's master this art of dressing, which will help us in our future endeavors. Um, it gives me immense pleasure and the CFA Society India to welcome Philip Shah, who would take us through the finer points of dressing and formal dressing, both for men and for women. Philip is a fellow image consultant. And he's also the owner of 927 Fashion House. He has over 18 years of experience in catering to wardrobe and style makeover, and also understanding the needs of the modern professionals. He won the Business and Service Excellence Award 2016 from Brands Academy in the category of Best Customized Men's Formal, Indo-Western, and Wedding Wear Boutique in Mumbai. He has also presented his fashion tips on grooming and fashion at various forums like NMIMS, CA Institute, ICFAI, Indian Dental Association, and also Vibrant Kutch events and various other corporates. So before I hand over to Philip, just a few important points. The session would be for about 30 to 40 minutes, followed by question and answers. Please do write your questions on the Q&A mentioned below. Also, the presentation will be shared 5 minutes before the end of the session, and also in the thank you email. One more important thing is your feedback is very, very important to us. Make sure you take the survey link, which is sent in the confirmation email. Also will be there in the thank you email and on the chat. For CFA Society India members, it's a mandatory requirement for the CE credit, so it's a must. With that, Philip, thank you and welcome and you can take over for the webinar from here.
Thank you so much, the CFA Society India, and a special thanks to Srinivas and Himani. I hope all of you are safe and sound and doing well. I'll just begin my session. I'll just open my PPT. Yeah. So, first of all, good evening, all the members of the CFA Society. Research has shown that better dressed entrepreneurs and professionals are perceived to be more capable and intelligent. So it's just that, one needs to look good, first of all, to create the right impression. So with this, I would just like to begin. Just a second. Himani, could you arrange for the screen share from your side because there's something which is not working out here.
I don't have the presentation.
1 second.
Uh,
Let me again try it once more. Yeah, sorry. So first of all, if you ask yourself the following questions, does my wardrobe match with my level of authority and seniority? Do I consider my business attire as a worthy investment? If you see these two questions, first of all, when if you are at a senior position and if not dressed as per your position, you're not sending the right image across to the person sitting across the table. Uh, as you all are all finance professionals, my question to you is that when there is an expense, it is either put in the balance sheet, which is an expense, or it is put as an investment in the balance sheet. Do you consider the expense which you do in clothes as an expense or an investment? That is one very important question which you need to answer. You also need to know whether you're in tune with the current times. It should not be that suddenly people feel that you're coming from 20 years back when you're wearing your clothes. And most importantly, when you're standing in front of the mirror, do you think you'll be able to do business with yourself? Now, if the answer to any of the above is no, then you need to upgrade your visual resume. I think there's some issue in the screen share. If Anne can help me. 1 second, I can try it.
Philip, I'll just do it at my end. Just a second.
Yeah, please, please. So while we are at this, let me just say that all of you ought to be at home, stay safe, and bond as much as possible with family. And I'm happy that all of you are here to gain knowledge, because I think that's the most important thing which we can do in these kind of days, and try to get as much knowledge as possible and upgrade ourselves, because that way our minds would stay sharp, and also we will be feeling also good about ourselves. Yeah, so I did try the up and down arrow, but somehow it is not going. So I guess I'll just tell you to move this slide as and when required. So you can start a slideshow. Yeah,
okay.
can we go? Do you want me to do something? Yeah, we
No,
can go
Philip, you
ahead.
can go ahead.
Next slide.
Yeah.
Philip, can you see?
I'll have to do it. Okay.
Okay, you want me to go to the next one? Just let me know.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you go to the next one. Yeah, the next one. So, well, we said that, if any of the answers to these questions is no, you need to upgrade your visual resume. You can go to the are you able to go to the next slide? Yeah, so now we'll go into different industries which require different types of dressings.
What is happening?
So first of all, most of you would be finance professionals, and being finance professionals, so when we let us say that there is a client who's going to approach you, and you are going to be wearing something which is conservative, only then they will be able to trust you with their money. So it could you managing their monies.
Ask.
You need to ensure that
Tell him that I'm giving him the control. Just type that. That Anlin is giving you the control. Just you can.
uh, can actually inspire confidence in the other person, because if you are not able to do that, that person will not trust you with the money. Essentially, if you are dressed formally, only then people will trust you with the money. Just give an example. Say, for example, you are going to a bank and the person on the other end is wearing a pair of shorts. Do you think you'll be able to trust that person with your money? And I would say no.
Philip, one suggestion is you could go ahead and like take the session and we could do it even without the PPT. If you want to
And
just
that is
move ahead. That's
where one has to showcase that one is different from the lot,
Philip, you're not audible.
which is dressing. Give an example. I tried once more. I'll just try once more.
Yeah, you'll have to go once more because you were not audible.
I'm not audible?
A little better, yeah. Yeah, better now. Philip? Philip, are you there?
Am I fine now? Because I think I lost connectivity. I'm sorry about that.
No problem, Philip. So the participants are just saying we can go even without the PPT. You could just, talk about it without the PPT and we could still move ahead with the webinar.
Sure. When we are talking about the dressing, we'd say that all those who are conservatively dressed in industries which are like related to finance, it is always better, because only then the persons on the other side would trust you with their monies. So it is important that you dress conservatively. Now, when you look at colors, so I would say that, say for example, there are various types of colors which can be explored. But for industries like yours, it is important that you all are dressed in darker colors. So when I talk about darker colors, it's about the jacket or the suit which you are wearing. Now I'll tell you why darker colors are important. Now, when you're wearing a darker color, you actually can pass away with that same color if you're going to wear it again and again. So say for example, you are wearing a black or a dark gray color jacket, and that jacket is something which, you wear it say twice or thrice in a week. Not many people will recognize that you're wearing the same one. Whereas if you select something which is out of the world, which looks very different, then people realize that it's not the same, it's the same one which you're wearing. That is one thing. Second is that you'll be perceived as somebody who is very serious when you're wearing a dark color. Uh, and an important tip is that when you're wearing a dark color, you look slim. So that is on the fashion side of it. So I would suggest that you should actually buy a jacket which is darker in color. Now I'll go to some other specifics of the jacket. So when you're buying the jacket, you should ensure that there is more of natural content in the jacket. Now, what do I mean by natural content? So when you're wearing something which is having higher percentage of wool, it always feels, drapes, and looks better. Now I'll go into the specifics of why you should be wearing that. Now, when you are wearing something which is zero wool based, it does not feel and fall good. Now, there would be many participants who would have a question and they would ask me, why is wool warm and is it suitable for this kind of tropical climate? In this, countries like India, where, the climate is pretty hot, wool is not good. But I would say it's the other way around. All kind of natural fabrics, which include silk, jute, cotton, wool, etc., all are breathable. They seem to, you get this feeling that it is warm, but it's not. Wool actually makes it more airable, which means that the air can pass through the wool more easily, making it feel really good. In fact, I would say that many times pure wool is more cooler than pure cotton. Yes, pure wool is more cooler than pure cotton. When you generally see, a lot of those snaps on Instagram, where all those models are wearing good suits, etc., they are all made of pure wool. And it is essential that when you are going to buy any such fabric or any suit, you should first ask the percentage of wool in it. Because one thing is sure, that the higher the percentage of wool, the fabric gets expensive. But now when I go back to the earlier point, I told you to treat the garment as an investment. And when you start looking at it as an investment, you look at it in a very different manner. So now you'll say, okay, I want to buy something which is going to drape and feel better. It is going to make me feel better. Because if it is going to make me feel better, it's going to improve my performance, the way I'm going to approach things, and the way I shall be, performing at my job, or the way, my confidence level is. So it increases that way. So that's why I say that you should actually essentially buy a jacket or a suit which is dark in color. And secondly, buy something which has more percentage of wool in it. So now let me go on to a typical shirt. So when you talk about shirts, many a times, a lot of you have this craving that I just need to go and pick up in bulk because A, I don't have much time. B, I can get it cheap in a particular sale. Now, since you all are all free right now, do one exercise. You go into your wardrobe and check out the number of shirts which are lying one above the other. Many times you'll feel that there are, let's say, 10 shirts in a pile. You'll be using only the top 2 or 3 shirts, or let's say maximum 5 shirts. The other 5 shirts are going to be lying just like that, and you will not be using it much. Whenever your subconscious mind feels that you're going to be feeling good in a shirt, it picks it up and you keep wearing it again and again. Now, why is the case? It is because the fabric of the shirt is good and it makes you feel good, which is why your hand goes again and again to those shirts. So I go to the thappi rule. When you have a thappi of shirts and you're not going to be using most of them or quite a lot of them, means you're not generating value. Now, you as finance professionals would understand this much better than what I would understand. So what is it that will give you more value? So first of all, let me go a little bit into the basics of fabrics. Now, the basics of fabrics are such that it is equivalent to, let's say, a balance sheet of the company. If the company balance sheet is not good, I'm sure that you would not want to invest in it. So in the same way, if the basic fabric is not good, you should not be actually buying it. So there is something called as single ply and two ply. Now, you would say it's a bit technical, but I would say still you should listen to it, because we as investors also listen to you when you say that this company has a high debt and we should not be investing in it. So I would say that uh, a single ply and two ply, I'll just show it to you in a very basic format. So when you have threads going horizontally and vertically, so this is called the warp and the weft. Now, when the thread which is going horizontally as well as vertically is double, it is called as 2 by 2. When one side of the thread is going double and one is going single, it is called 2 by 1. So in this case, 2 by 2 is that kind of fabric which has got double going vertically as well as horizontally. Now, there are a huge number of advantages when we look at the two ply fabrics. First of all, these kind of two ply fabrics do not require something which is called as the wrinkle-free treatment. Now, this wrinkle-free myth has been driven into all of us by advertising. Now, what is actually wrinkle-free? So, wrinkle-free is a treatment given to low-quality fabrics because they wrinkle and they don't come back to their original self. Now, in this two-ply fabrics, you don't need this wrinkle-free treatment. Now, wrinkle-free treatment is primarily some chemicals in which this particular fabric is dipped. So let us say that I am picking up some 100% cotton fabric. I am wanting to make it wrinkle-free. It is low quality, hence. And that's why I take this fabric and I dip it into this particular solution, which makes it wrinkle-free. Now, because of dipping it in this, all the pores which are there in between, the pores get filled up with that chemical. Thus, you may feel you're wearing cotton, but in a sense, you're actually not wearing cotton, but you're wearing something which is polyester-like, because all those pores are getting filled up. That is where you're actually using cotton, but in essence, you're not using cotton. Now, on the contrast, you go to, let's say, a two-ply fabric. The two-ply fabric doesn't require this kind of treatment because it has this property of going back to its original self in a very short while. So if it gets wrinkled, the crease recovery property, which is the property generated by the basic fabric, is so high that it goes back to its original self. So at the max, what happens is where there is more abrasion, let's say near the elbows where you're going to, put it up and down, it's that place where the wrinkles will stay back, but all the other places, the wrinkles will go back to the normal self, which is why you should be using two-ply fabrics. Now, how do you recognize these two-ply fabrics? So first of all those brands which are selling these kind of shirts, when they don't mention anything about the kind of ply which is there, means it's single ply. There are few shirts in brands like, let's say, a Zodiac or even a Louis Philippe, which are two-ply. They may be slightly expensive, but when you buy that, you're actually going to get more value for money. So the next time you're going shopping, ensure that you look at that two-ply. Also ensure that you buy what you like. And that doesn't happen when you go in a sale, because even the seller knows that you're actually here to pick up something which is cheap. And a lot of these manufacturers, what they do is they pick up all these fabrics in bulk, make those shirts and dump it there. And that's why when you go back to your wardrobe, like I earlier said, you'll find that there are those shirts lying there. You get the psychological feeling कि भाई हमारे पास तो बहुत सारे कपड़े हैं. I got so many shirts, but in essence, you're not using them much. So let me talk in your language, your language of numbers. I would define value as the price which you paid for the garment divided by the number of times you've worn it. So if you are going to, let's say, buy a 100 rupee shirt and you're going to wear it, say, once, the value, the amount which you paid per wear is 50 rupees. If you're going to buy, let's say, a 1,000 rupee shirt and you're going to wear it, let's say, 50 times, now you decide what is the kind of value which you have generated out of that particular garment. So ideally, don't look at the price and buy it. Always look at what is the kind of quality which you're buying versus the price, and how much often you're going to use it. Now, for people like you who are essentially connected to the finance industry, I would say that those kind of colors like whites, light blues, creams, you should be actually keeping very good quality shirts, because the moment you wear something which is good, the person sitting on the opposite side of the table perceives you as important. He wants to give you, attention, and you will be also more confident when you're putting your point across. So here till now I've covered 2 points. First is about the suit. So when you're buying a suit, try to see to it that you're buying something which is darker in color, number one, which is having higher percentage of wool. Second point which we covered is when you're buying a shirt, see to it that you are buying 2-ply by 2-ply shirts, which actually will make you feel better. Now I'll go into a third technical point. This is about the threads per inch. Now, what is the threads per inch? Now, when you have a particular fabric and you can see those threads, so I'll be showing you all those threads just like this, because that's how I can show you in a webinar. So when you're seeing those threads and they go horizontal, vertically again, in a particular inch, you can count how many threads are going vertically as well as horizontally. The higher the number of threads, the better the quality of the fabric. Now you'll ask me why. See, when you are seeing a gunny bag, you'll have seen a gunny bag at home. You know, when you see that gunny bag, you'll see that you'll be able to count the threads which are going horizontally and vertically. So it's essentially not a great quality. Now, as the number of threads increase, the fabric, of course, gets thinner and it gets better. So let me take you back to your school studies, where you used to see that there was something which is called as the cotton yarn. So you have this cotton yarn which is there and which has to be actually used to make fabric. So essentially, if you have a thread which is very thin, which we just said, you would require very high quality yarn. And that is why you will realize that Egyptian cotton or high quality cotton is used in these kind of fabrics. I'll go into the production of the fabric. So all these so-called yarn is taken. Since it is high staple, it has got a longer bud. Now that one bud has to be joined with the other. So it's joined one after the other, and then a particular thread is made. So if that staple is long, the number of joints are less. Get it? The staple is long, the number of joints are less. So essentially, that is why the longer staple cotton is better. Now, when you actually keep joining this, you make the thread. If you have the smaller size staples, then the number of joints are more. So now going back, I'll take you to, let's say, the Sankrant, where you fly kites. When you're going to be flying kites, and when there is the thread with which you actually attach the kite, it has got more joints, there is higher chance of the thread breaking. The same logic you can apply to the fabric. If you're going to have more joints, then the thread is going to be unstable. So here I'm actually now connecting the dots, and I'm saying that if it's a long staple cotton with less number of joints, it is actually more stable, more better. So this is supposed to be more thinner, and which is why it is used in those fabrics which have got higher counts. Leaving aside the complexities, let me tell you that the higher the number of threads per square inch, the better the fabric quality, which is why when you see some of those high price shirts, they would have written there, let's say 2 by 100s count, which means that there are 100 threads per square inch in those kind of fabrics. There can be essentially fabrics which can get still better, which could be 120, 150, 300 counts also. So those are like, if you look at 300 counts, they are like the Ferraris, the kind of fabrics which are like the Ferraris of the automobile industry. So here I'm saying that essentially look at something which is minimum 80s count when you're looking at a good shirt. So you look at 2 by 80s count, which is, I go back to the earlier point, which said that you should have a 2 by 2 fabric. So you look at a minimum 2 by 80s when you're looking at a good shirt. And I'm sure that that shirt is going to last you a really long time. And for all those gentlemen, your wives would come and say, when are you going to change this shirt? It's been around for like 5 years. That's going to happen. So this is the third point which we have covered. The first point, I'll again repeat. Since I'm not having the PPT, I'm sure that the organizers will arrange to send the PPT to you. So the first point which I said is, when you're wearing a suit, try to get something which is darker in color, which has got more of wool in it. Second point, when you're buying a shirt, see to it that you look at a 2 by 2 fabric and see buy such a kind of a shirt. And the third point is, you look at the threads per inch. The higher the threads per inch, the better the shirt is going to be. So next time when you're going shopping, just don't go there and see those offers and say, "Arey, do par ek free hai," yeah, I'm getting so many shirts at such a good deal and I'm going to buy it. They are actually playing with your mind. They are playing a psychological game, which I believe is not to your advantage. Understand that there is no free lunch. There is always going to be people who are going to come and fleece you, and you'll get a feeling that your wardrobe is full of fabrics, but garments, but it's not. So going ahead, I would say that whenever you are in a particular dilemma as to what you should be wearing in what occasion, so let me give you a few tips. So let's say that when you're going in for something like a beach party, you should create a mood within yourself by wearing such clothes. Like, say for example, you're wearing clothes which are printed, and if you can be as different as wearing prints which have, let's say, palm trees on it, your mind and your subconscious mind will make you feel very different, and you'll get into that party mode. If you're wearing something which is dotted, it is going to make you feel younger. The other person also will feel that you're much younger than your age. Now, this is especially so for women. So if you're going to be wearing polka dots, you're going to look much younger than your age. So the next time you want to get a compliment, wear something like that. Now, besides that, at times you have to actually, rush out of your office and go for a particular outing or for a marriage. So what you can do is you can actually have good level of accessories. Try to buy accessories which are high quality and which you can complement with your existing clothes. So it could be a scarf for ladies. It could be maybe a necklace for ladies. You could actually then come out of office and go to your your outing or a wedding directly. For men also, if you are having those few suits which I described to you, which are dark color, which are standard, and you don't have too many of them, try to keep a lot of pocket squares. Nowadays, the trend is not to wear too many ties. So what can a gentleman showcase, So we would say if you have different pocket squares, the same outfit can look different in various ways. Besides that, you can also see to it that that same jacket can be used in various occasions. When you're going for a party, you could actually wear a t-shirt inside it, maybe a black t-shirt with that dark gray blazer. If you're going in for let's say a disco, you could actually wear a printed shirt inside that same jacket. And of course, in the morning when you're going for your office or a meeting, you can wear a formal shirt. If it is too formal, if it's too formal a requirement, then you could be wearing a tie with it. Essentially, that's why I say that invest in few garments which are high quality, and invest in high quality accessories. So these are the tips which I can give you. Now, when you, let's say for all those people who are actually going in for suits, I would say that try to avoid buying ready-made suits. Now you will ask me why. Now the point is that many a times when you're buying those suits and you try on a suit, you will see that sometimes the shoulders are, much more, and only then the button is closing. And at times your shoulder is perfect and your buttons don't close, because we Indians, and of course we have a lot of audience internationally also hearing to this, are not so fit. Our proportion of shoulder to the waist is not right, which is why when you are buying this ready-made suit, you will not get your perfect fit. Hence, I would always recommend that you should go in for a made to measure, and if possible, if you can afford it, a bespoke one. Only then it will make you look and feel better. And most important, like I always keep saying, it will take your confidence to the next level. So all those people who are regularly wearing suits also, there is a tip for you. So if it's like a 2-button suit, you see to it that you only put the top button. You only put the top button. Don't put both the buttons. That is because all those who wear suits regularly, and there is, the act of standing up, sitting down, they generally open the jacket button when they are going to sit down. So usually they put only one button. So the people on the other side would always recognize whether you are a regular wearer of suits or not. So if you want to look as if you're going to be wearing suits regularly, only put the top button. So in case if it's a 3-button one, you can put the middle button. When you're traveling for your work and you find that, you have to carry clothes, try to carry a small iron, because if your clothes are packed and taken in a particular journey, you'll realize that they are not as wearable as they should be, especially if you're supposed to go for a meeting. So try to carry a iron, and then before the meeting, make sure you iron it. For all those who are going on long flights, ensure that you're wearing comfortable shoes. Shoes are exceedingly important when you are on a long haul flight. So these are some of the tips which I can give you. Besides that, let's say that when you are,
the presentation is shared with all the panelists and the attendees, so you can refer to PPT numbers in case you want to, the slide numbers.
Sure.
Yeah, and a lot of the Q&A around women dressing. So if you want to just elaborate a little on the women formal dressing, I leave it up to you now or later. Thank you.
Done. Yeah. So essentially, I would say, while I was on that point of tips, I would say that when you are looking at, let's say, a meeting and you're carrying a bag, don't keep your bag on the table. It looks offending. You should keep it on the side. Now, coming back to what Himani was saying, when we are talking about women dressing, women in India look really wonderful when they are in saris. So for some of those important meetings, you can pick up your sari, which probably your mother had gifted you, and which you felt you looked $1 million in. Go for that. The second is, of course, you can look at Indian wear like a Punjabi suit. For all those women who can carry it off, I would say you should go for a make-to-measure suit. Now, when you're making that suit, you also ensure that when you're making the suit, you make a trouser as well as a skirt in the same fabric, because that way you'll be able to wear the suit in 2 different ways, which could be, of course, 3 ways, not 2 ways. One is, of course, you can wear it on a denim if you want to look semi-casual. If you want to look formal, then you can wear it with a trouser as well as a skirt. Now, even with women, I would say that you should try to go in for a tailor-made one rather than picking it up right on the shelf. There are a whole lot of fabric options which come for women, but I would still suggest you should look at what I told you earlier for general suits, which is try to pick up a fabric which has got a higher proportion of wool. I'm sure that will boost up the confidence of women. Of course, they have got much more confidence than us men, but nonetheless, it will help boost up their confidence and make them feel good about themselves. For all those who can actually afford it, please go for a pure wool fabric. This is applicable for all men and women. Most of the fabrics which are pure wool are imported from Italy, of course, without the corona. I'm not saying with the corona. They are imported from Italy and UK. And I'm telling you, once you wear it, you'll feel like $1,000,000 in it. The kind of the cooling effect which you get, it's like a temperature control fabric, let me tell you. So when you're going in, let's say a 35-degree temperature, it's going to make you feel like you're in 25 degrees. And when you go in, let's say a 5-degree temperature, it will make you feel like you're in 12 degrees. So that is the kind of temperature control pure wool can provide. And just invest in few of them. Don't go for too many. Get that one good pure wool suit and get your 100% cotton minimum 2x100 count shirt. This is applicable for all men as well as women. Now for women also, I would say invest in accessories. And for you, I think the sky should be the limit in accessories. You can have those same garments, which of course, I'm sure you all will not agree with me. You always would want to stock up more, but you can have those same suits, those same skirts, those same formal shirts, and you can keep changing the look with those accessories. You'll definitely look better. And of course, I would say try to carry good pens. When you're carrying a good pen and when you're going to sign a document, it really sends a fantastic message across to the opposite person that you in fact mean business. So I believe I'm coming close to my 45 minutes, which was allotted to me, and probably we can have the question answer session, the Q&A section. Himani, if you could just pose the questions to me, I'll be happy to take them.
Hi, Philip.
Yeah,
Thank
Himani.
you for the very interesting session. And there are a lot of questions which have come in. So I'm going to start one by one. Just give me a minute. So, there is one question which, you mentioned conservative dressing. So when you say, so there's one question which says, what do you mean by conservative dressing? What would you say would be conservative?
Yeah, so conservative where I meant is that let's say you can't be wearing a red color shirt to office. When I look at a shirt, you can't be wearing jeans to an office where you're going to be dealing in finance. You can't be wearing a shorts or a t-shirt. So I'm saying that conservative means you're going to be wearing a formal shirt and a formal trouser for men, and maybe Indian dressing like a Punjabi suit, or let's say Western wear for women. I'm saying that it should not be such that it makes you look casual about things, or make the other person perceive as if you're not so very serious about the other person. That's where I meant conservative.
Okay. And for women, would you say Western formal or Indian formal? What would be the preferred order?
If you ask me, really, if I have to be, rating them, I would say Western formal is always more preferable. If it is on a lady who would be, let us say, between 25 and 40 years old, let's say somebody who's 40 plus, the order would be different. It would be Indian wear and Western wear. Of course, it also depends on the figure of the lady, just to be more so that they should be able to carry it across also well. Essentially, this is what I would say: the age description and the figurative description on from my side.
Okay. The second, some other questions which are pouring in is, there was one second. Can you please mention the brand names which provide value for money for shirt, trousers, and suit?
Yeah, so first I would say that there are these brands like Zodiac. Zodiac offers a lot of value for money. It has been around for many years, and there are a whole lot of shirts where you get 2x2 out there. Having said that, I would still say that one must become like your Dadaji, because Dadaji used to get his clothes stitched. Go back to your tailor. You will always see that fast food is never ever good for health. Fine dine is always good. Go back to your tailor, maybe spend some time with him. I'm sure that you may have to go there a couple of times to get things right. Only then you will be able to get the right fit and the right fabric. And let me tell you, I'm a tailor, and we've been in this for this is my third generation, and I believe that we've got clients who are coming here for decades. And it's not that it's about me, but go for fine dine rather than fast food. Having said that, in trousers, you can look at Blackberries as a brand and Park Avenue as a brand, which are good value for money. But try to look at a wool mix in trousers. You may say that initially it may cause issues, but gradually you'll get used to it. And let's say if you come to a tailor, the tailor can actually make it a half lining trouser and reduce the pains which you get while wearing something which is woolen. Yeah.
Okay. And so another question on the same line is Raymond is offering 45% merino wool. Can you share more info on this? Is it something that you would like to highlight? Or?
So 45% is the percentage mix of the wool, which I was talking to you about earlier. When we go to buy something of Raymond's, we generally don't see the wool mix, but that is one of the most important things. We generally see that, okay, ye original hai ki nahi, Raymond's hai ki nahi, but we seldom see the mix of wool. So 45% would be wool, 55% would be the artificial fabric, which is your polyester, etc. So if you take that 45% and let's say you go to a 70%, just see the drape of that fabric. When you go to next time to a Raymond store, ask him to show you something which is the other way around also, that is 55% wool, or better still something which is 70% wool, and see the fabric quality. You'll realize there's a world of difference. Unfortunately, out here, men or even women don't know that this is the most important parameter to look for in a fabric. And next time you also start asking about the counts. So I'm sure that all those people going to Raymond's who are listening to this seminar are really going to, bug the salespeople now, because they'll be knowing many times much more than the salespeople are going to know.
Philip, one interesting question is, for a job interview, what is better, a Mandarin collar or a collared shirt and tie?
So first of all, you should answer that question by sitting on the other side of the table. When you're sitting on the other side of the table, you'll realize that you would want somebody who doesn't play around with things. You don't want somebody who's going to just experiment. And I'm talking about your finance industry. When in the finance industry, you don't want people who don't follow rules. Who actually stick to the book. So those guys who actually wear a regular shirt would be more preferred. And if I'm looking at it from the other way around, let's say I'm looking at a job interview in an advertising industry, then I would say, okay, you can go and experiment, because they want people who can experiment. But essentially, the CFA society comprises of finance related professionals. The more, conservative, which I described, you dress, the better it's going to be. And your chances of getting your dream job would increase much more in that case. If possible, if it's a higher level position, you should be actually wearing a blazer also, instead of only a shirt and a trouser.
Right.
That's my recommendation.
Yeah. Whenever you dress up, right?
Yeah.
So, so next question is shoes with shoelaces, socks and shoes mix. These days we see multicolored socks. What kind of dresses to go with? So basically the question is, what kind of shoes and shoelaces and socks and shoes, and what kind of socks would probably go with brown shoes? Is there a definition for that, or?
Yeah. So now let me tell you, there is when you look at trousers now, so there are three different lengths in trousers which are prevalent now. So depending on the length of the trouser, there are something which is called as two breaks, which is like a really long length, and it gathers around at the foot. Then there is a single break, and then there is a zero break. So zero break is essentially the Italian cut, which is actually just about touching your foot, and that is where something which is the socks fashion has evolved. So when you're wearing a trouser and when you sit down, your actually trouser goes up a bit, and that is where your socks get visible. So
Right.
for all those who are wearing those Italian cuts, they want to actually showcase those socks. Uh, uh, I would say that again, for all of you finance professionals, you should wear the socks which are the similar colors or the same colors of the trouser which you're wearing. Do not experiment with them. I would say a complete no-no for all those cartoon characters on your socks. Because if you want that job and you're going to show those cartoon characters, your employer will think you're a cartoon. But however, if you're the boss, you can always dress up how you want. But you will also have to think about the client. How is the client going to perceive you in those socks? Uh, you must try to just go neutral. Wear socks which match with your trouser. Do not experiment with those different kind of socks, and don't wear a zero break trouser. Those zero break trousers look good when you're standing, but they would look funny when you're sitting down, because for all those gentlemen, the trouser goes much above the socks, and it shows your leg hair, which is not, it's a no no for people. So I would say that be conservative, have a single or two break trouser, wear socks which are matching with the color of the your trouser. If you're wearing brown socks on a blue trouser, you can actually have a navy blue socks, which is the color of your suit, or you can go for a neutral color, which is white. Don't go for a brown socks. That is my advice.
Right. And I would also add that color helps to increase your height. So if you have a matching color to your trousers, it doesn't break the color. And therefore you'll end up looking taller versus a mismatched color with the trousers. So that's also interesting. What is the next question comes, what is the ideal color match for the following? Tie and shirt, shirt and pant, pant and shoes.
The first is tie and shirt, you said.
Yeah.
So the
Tie.
tie always has to be darker than the shirt. Never wear a tie which is lighter than a shirt. The second which you said is shirt and trouser, right?
Shirt and pant, yeah, trousers.
Shirt and trouser, again, the shirt has to be lighter than the trouser. While you're wearing a dark trouser with a shirt, the tie can be actually colorful. It could be colorful in the sense I would add colors like, let's say, a maroon, a red, of course, a navy blue. All these colors go well. For all those finance professionals, a lot of times a striped tie, which has got the stripes going diagonally, they look
Yeah.
good on those kind of combinations. And the third question was,
Pant and shoes, which you already answered actually, but you want to
yeah.
trousers
So
and
of course,
shoes.
try to keep a couple of pairs of black shoes, because you can never go wrong with black. For all
Right.
those who would like to follow fashion and who really love fashion, you all should keep a pair of brown shoes and a pair of tan shoes also, because nowadays people wear a lot of these colors with, of course, blue, and there is also a trend of wearing light beige trousers, which are those cotton trousers on, let's say, Fridays and Saturdays, where you can actually wear these kind of shoes. Having said that, if you are still having a lot of room in your your shoe cupboard, you can have various kind of colored loafers which you can wear on a Saturday.
Okay. Our another question is, are four-way stretch clothes good to wear?
Yeah, so I would say that the entire concept of Zara has been developed on the stretch concept. So essentially, any of these garments which you wear, they will fit you properly because they're going to stretch on all sides. Having said that, the kind of fabrics which are being made for these kind of brands and also for the four-way stretch are really not up to the mark. So you will find that after a few wears, you'll get a lot of bobbling, you'll get a lot of those small threads coming out of these kind of garments, and which actually showcases that those fabrics are not good quality. They may fit you well, and they will, not have any issues when you are actually bending down, etc. But from a longevity point of view, they are not really good value for money. However, having said that, nowadays there is a particular generation which would be like, let's say 25, 30 and lesser. They are actually very accustomed to this kind of wearing. It is not easy to change them. And probably the next generation would look at a lot of use and throw because of this, because they'll have to keep buying these garments and throw them away quickly. And I guess, as you all grow up, start increasing the salary packages, because they'll have a lot of money which they'll have to put in these clothes because of this gradually. And they will need to keep buying again and again, or be satisfied with something which is not really good quality.
Okay. The next question is tie pins. Any good places to buy tie pins in India?
Yeah, so now of late, there are a lot of these manufacturers which have discontinued with tie pins, so that's why you get mostly cufflinks available. However, having said that, at least about 30-40% of the production of cufflinks comes with tie pins. So essentially, you'll have to buy a pair of cufflinks if you want tie pins. If you want to buy only tie pins, you're not getting them with the right quality and a good plating, which one may say, because the plating wears away. So you need to buy something which is branded, like your Raymonds, etc., with the tie pin, with the cufflinks, and not only tie pins. Having said that, one can gradually do away with the tie, because of late, a whole lot of meetings, people are not wearing ties now. At times, you enter the room and you find that out of the 15 gentlemen who are sitting in the meeting, you're the only one wearing a tie. And that's what, makes you look, old-fashioned, to say so. So, if possible, you can do away with the tie. That is my suggestion.
Okay. And cufflinks, is there a good place in India to buy them, or do you suggest?
Yeah, of course, there is there are good brands like, Zodiac, your Park Avenue, etc., which are always been good in terms of cufflinks. There are newer brands also which have come because people want wacky cufflinks, etc. Having said that, you should actually buy cufflinks which are silver in color, essentially. I would not say gold also. Gold stands out quite a lot. Silver is a very basic color. It will go with most of your shirts. Try to avoid buying those with colored stones, because then if it is like, let's say, a blue color, you won't be able to wear it on some other colored shirts. So keep a couple of them which are silver colored, and you can just be rest assured, morning you get up and you can pick up that pair of cufflink and wear it on any shirt.
Okay. Another question is there a preference between check shirt and a plain shirt at a workplace or a presentation or an interview?
First of all, for an interview, presentation, meeting, try to wear a plain shirt only, if it is going to be important. Essentially, the main colors would be white, light blue. If you want to again play around, you can go with cream. You can go with, nowadays, light pink is very much in, even for gentlemen. For check shirts, for those who are a little, hefty, you should try to avoid check shirts because it's going to make you look more plump. Having said that, check shirts would be good if you have a white background and you have a check, because only that will look more formal. And of course, check shirts will be good for a weekend. So Friday, Saturday, check shirt would make you feel and look different apart from the weekday.
Okay. A few questions from our women
participants. Can you elaborate on what would be the correct length of trousers and skirts and dresses for ladies for a formal occasion?
Yeah, so when we look at trousers for ladies, for them the Italian, length is the perfect length, because usually I wouldn't want ladies to wear very long. When you look at skirts, there are two lengths. So if you want to be a little conservative, it can be below the knee. If you want to be, something which is a little more bold, it could be above the knee. Because you should also essentially understand that you should see this garment while you're sitting also, and you should be able to follow the right etiquette while you're sitting. Uh, Also, when you're going to sit, it's going to come up a little bit. So whenever you're buying also, just don't wear it in front of the mirror. You should sit down and check it out also how it looks when you're sitting in front of the mirror, because only then you will be able to gauge whether it's the right length for you or not. So having said that, then it's, yeah. Sorry.
Totally agree with that. So for most women, actually at workplace, it's better if your dress or skirt goes a little below the knee, so that when you sit, it just lands at the knee and not above that. So so the protocol is below the knee, and if it's a party, it's a different thing. But for an office or a formal occasion, it's best if the skirt or the dress is just below the knee. So I totally agree on that, Philip. The next question is, we have a lot of semi-formal tops that we get for women. Do they always have to be paired with a blazer?
So not necessarily. Of late, I have seen that the men have to dress very, very conservatively, but women can actually carry off a good top with a nice skirt or a nice trouser also. Oh, because let's say you're wearing a nice jet black trouser, you can get away with a nice top and look formal also. So not necessarily that you have to wear a suit always. However, if you're going in for a very important meeting or a session where it's going to be world changing, then of course the jacket will help you. But see to it that the top matches the trouser and the jacket. It should not be, and it should not be so bright color that all the attention gets drawn to that particular garment. And in the course of that, whatever you're saying falls flat. So you should not be so very ostentatiously dressed that whatever you say is actually, not taken into account.
I would just add to that a lot of times we want our attention to be on the face and what we are talking. So maybe a scarf around the neck, or maybe a accessory which is probably a brighter color than the clothes around the neck, because it takes the attention away to the face and to what you're talking. And like he mentioned, blazers are not a must, but it helps. It makes someone look more formal, right, Philip?
Yes, right. That's right.
How about wearing? Okay, so this is interesting. So there's a trend of a Nehru jacket these days. So do you think wearing a Nehru jacket instead of a suit sometimes makes sense?
It surely breaks the clutter. You're going to be wearing the suit all the time. So once in a while, you can wear that Nehru jacket, which is the sleeveless one. Of course, when you're talking about the band gala, which is the sleeved one, that gives a more Indian look. So a lot of times when you're actually interacting with foreigners and people who are, not well versed with our dressing, and if you wear a band gala, that band gala looks fabulous at those times. However, again, I would repeat here that you should go for a made-to-measure band gala. Coming back to the sleeveless bandi, it is actually a very versatile one, because you can actually take it back to your, you can wear it to office and take it back to a marriage also, or to some other party also. By opening the top button, it looks a little casual also. So it's a very, very effective, garment which has come in the men's wardrobe of late. Again, I'm repeating that it should be dark in color. Try to get a dark colored one, so that it matches with most of your light shirts. Otherwise, the problem is that you like a light colored one, you pick it up, and you necessarily have to wear a dark color shirt inside, which doesn't go well with your office wear. And you have limitations in terms of the colors which you can use with it. Yeah.
Also, a lot of men have questions on what men accessories someone can wear in a formal occasion.
I think right now the best men's accessory is a Apple iPhone. I think when you put that across, people know that you really are you mean business. Of course, having said that, you could look at cufflinks, you could look at pocket squares, you could look at a nice pen, which I had mentioned earlier. You should have a good belt, which is essential. Look at pure leather shoes with a pure leather base. A lot of people are exceedingly observant. They see all those small points and those accessories, or those shoes, etc., which you are using, because of which they can actually gauge you as a person. And whilst you are wearing something which is simple in terms of the shirt, trousers, jacket, all these accessories really stand out. So I would definitely say that at least try to stack up on your pocket squares with your jacket, because that actually carries a lot of statement. When you're talking to people, they really feel that you are aptly dressed, and very few people are using these kind of pocket squares. And of course, you should keep a few cufflinks and good pens.
Okay. And there's one question which you, I think, basically answered, but if you could just, for the benefit of the participants, should everything you wear match?
No, not necessary. You're not going to wear a matching all the time, but you should see to it that it looks pleasing to you. For all those gentlemen, you should wear it and show it to your wife before going to office. And if she says, okay, you're looking really good, I mean, then there's a problem, because probably then she wants your credit card also. However, having said that, on a lighter note, I would say that it's not necessary that you should totally match, because I've seen a lot of people who would only wear a particular pair. They'll say, I don't want to go beyond this pair. But I would say go and experiment. It's not necessary that, you should only wear that pair, or only that is going to look good. Take your judgment. See to it that you do not match something like, let's say, a striped shirt and a checked pant. When you're wearing a checks pant, of late, which is very much in fashion, try to wear a plain shirt only. That is one advice which I'd like to give you. If you want to be conservative, try to wear something which is a lighter color shirt and a darker color pant as much as possible.
Right. Philip, which colors are better for pocket squares?
Pocket squares are like ties, they need to be bright, they need to stand out. So in this, you can actually experiment. While you're also looking at a pocket square, I would say from a wedding perspective, you can see that, okay, what is my wife or my partner wearing? She's wearing a shocking pink. I can always keep a shocking pink pocket square, because that's not the kind of color which I would wear for a shirt. However, having said that, for office wear, you can actually keep those colors like red, blues, which are like a brighter blue. You can keep green, and all these kind of colors will go on a darker color jacket. So again, we go back to that same basics that, you keep a darker color, conservative, like a navy blue or a black jacket or a dark gray jacket. Then you'll be able to pair them with a lot of these kind of pocket squares.
Okay, and shoes with laces or without?
This is a very, very subjective question. I have seen that a whole lot of young generation, they try to wear something which is with laces. The ones which are like 35, 40 plus, they don't want this hassle of tying laces, because they might be in a hurry in the morning, and that's where they look at shoes which are just you just put your foot in and you're into the shoes. You need to feel comfortable, which is most important. The more comfortable you are with the shoes, the better it is, because you're going to be wearing them 8 to 10 hours in a day, many a times. And it's essential that your feet are at ease. So just take your own call. Maybe if you're having a lot of shoes, then you can keep something which is beyond what you're actually wearing. You can also try the monk strap, which is like having a strap on the side. which also looks very good as an alternative for the regular, shoes which you have.
Okay. One question from one of our board of directors, Anil. He's asking, is a subtle white gold bracelet, etc., considered acceptable, or would you avoid it?
A white gold bracelet, you said, no?
Yeah,
So
etc.
a
Something
white
like
gold
a
bracelet,
bracelet
if
or a chain for men. Yeah.
yeah, so it is again. I'm saying that it depends on the person who's going to be wearing it. So if you're sitting on the side of the table where you're going to interview a candidate, of course it's good. But as a candidate, you should not be wearing this when you're going for an interview. A lot of people get put off by these kind of things. So the more neutral you are, the better it is. Try to avoid these kind of accessories because if you're going to be dealing with a cross section of people who are coming from different cultures, there are cultures who feel that this is a kind of a show off which people are doing, or they're not going to be very comfortable with these accessories. I would say better that you don't wear it, especially in conservative meetings or where you're going to be, having a presentation, etc. Try to avoid that. But if you really feel that it's going to make you feel good about yourself, then you should go with it.
Okay. Can you please name a few brands who follow the technical details you summarized when buying shirts?
Yeah. So, of course, Zodiac does it. To an extent, Park Avenue does it.
Is it better to
Park
get your
Avenue,
shirts tailored?
100%. You should get most of your garments tailored because the kind of fabrics which you can get in a tailoring outfit, you'll never get in ready-mades. See, you should understand the economics of ready-mades. When you see, let's say that I am a ready-made brand and I'm going to make, let's say, 100 units. I'm only going to sell 30 units at the full price. The next 30 units I'm going to sell at 20% discount, and probably the next 40 I'm going to sell at 50% discount. So I have to actually essentially factor that price into it, which is where I need to play around with the fabric. And that is what you consumers, regular consumers, don't know. So they would always try to get fabric which is low quality. Secondly, you will never get the right fit. So I am saying that please go back to fine dining. Don't go to your McDonald's by just picking up that burger. Go to your tailor, meet him, understand what he can do for you. Because let me tell you that when a person comes to me, the same body type can have 4 different types of fittings. And believe me, it makes a world of a difference when you're getting something which is of the right fit for you. It'll make you feel so good from within, and topped up with a good fabric. I'm sure that you'll be at the top of the world with confidence going up beyond what you had ever thought about.
Thank you, Philip. Philip, one last question. What's the advantage of 2-ply when it comes to presentation versus single ply?
Can you just repeat the question? Your voice broke.
What's the advantage of 2-ply when it comes to presentation, not in terms of value, but presentation versus single ply?
So I'll tell you what, 2-ply has got. Yeah. I got the question now. So the 2-ply has got a lot of advantages. So first is, like I mentioned, that, the wrinkle-free property. So it, goes back to its original self very fast. The second is that it has a very good drape and feel about it. So a lot of times when you see people wearing these kind of shirts, you feel that इसने कुछ अच्छा पहना हुआ है. Many times you don't want to go and compliment that person, but there is always this feeling that भाई इसने तो कुछ बहुत बढ़िया पहना हुआ है. So of course that other person will make you, he'll put you at a pedestal when you're going to be talking. So imagine that when you are at a pedestal and delivering a talk, the receptivity of the other person is much higher. Now, having said that, there are something which are called as dobbies. So, dobbies is something where there is some self, weave which is created. So the weave looks fantastic if it is on a 2-ply fabric, and it feels very loose and limp when it is on a single-ply fabric. So these are the 3 advantages, and of course, the most important is that it sends a message to your subconscious that bhai, you're important. You're wearing something which is nice, and which is why your the way in which you're going to be talking to the other person will change dramatically. That is that makes the world of a difference. And adding to that, let's say that you make that 2-ply nice shirt with a double cuff and wear some good cufflinks. That will be Sone Pe Suhaga, in my opinion.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you so much. In fact, next time I have to get a friend or a husband or my father to get clothes tailored, I'm definitely going to take your advice for it. Also, I definitely agree with you that clothes also have a very psychosomatic effect on you. So, guys, just put on a jacket and you will see that your confidence level suddenly changes. Thank you, Philip. Thanks again from the whole of the CFA Society India for doing this webinar with us. And just for the participants, we also have a survey link that we sent on the chat and also on the thank you email. Your feedback is very important to us. Do write back, and also for the CFA Society board, it is important for the credit points also. Apart from that, the CFA Society, this will be available on YouTube on the CFA Society India YouTube page in about 7 to 8 work days post the session. So do look at it. Thank you, Srini. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Annalyn, Harshad, everyone
Thank you for
here.
this opportunity, CFA Society India, and thank you, Srinivas, Himani, and all those who have put in efforts to get this to people. It is my job, or rather my mission, to share knowledge and improve the understanding of fabrics and garments amongst people, because I feel that if this is shared more and more, I'm sure that the industry also will change accordingly, because then as a consumer, if you start demanding the right quality and the right fabric, you will enforce that change upon the industry and force it to change direction from where it is going right now, because it's going in the wrong direction of fleecing the consumer. Having said that, I am sure that this message will be spread wide and far. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you to all the participants.